I could spread. I'm meant to hold this one, aren't I? Yeah. I'm going to put these in my back pocket. I have never received a welcome like that. Matt, make me cry. Sometimes life's really tough, you know, and you don't know how to make it neat and tidy. And then you hear stories like that and you're like, it's all right, because God's got us. And it's, I don't know, it's like birds. They find all the bits and pieces, the twine and all the little branches and twigs and little fibres and so on, and somehow they're able to create a beautiful home nest. I'll follow any instructions you want me to do. And I find that that's like God, because, you know, there's a whole lot of mess. And we can get very swamped by that and feel very overcome by evil or by injustice or by sorrow and suffering, and it's very easy to lose hope. Yeah. I think that this is the special thing about having faith in Jesus. It's not that we're any more special. We like to think we're more special, but, you know, it's not because we're any more special. It's because we were chosen. Alicia Higbed, girlfriend. Oh, it is so good to see you. Oh, my goodness. I'll try not to do that to anyone else that I spot, you know, but come on, girl, you look great. Look at that. All right, cup of tea. See, there's a twig, and then here's a nest, and we're home. We're home together, we're safe, you know. I used to find churches really threatening places to go into, and that's partly because I was raised in a church by, you know, ministry people. Dad's a Bible college lecturer and, you know, pastor. We were missionaries in Papua New Guinea. I've been to just about every Bible college that you can be to, but not as the paying student, but as the child that witnesses. And boy, do I have stories about those places. And the people that are in them, and not all of them are good. I've been to every denomination. I've been to thousands upon thousands of churches just because I was born into it, which is both privilege and problem. And yet I stand here because of the grace of God. And I stand here because my God somehow weaves things into this story of mess. And therefore I cannot but follow. I cannot but tell the truth that I know that our God is truth. And therefore, I can stand in hope and in purpose, despite who's knocked me down and how they've knocked me down, and boy, do I have stories. And despite all of that, we can join in the productivity of overcoming evil with good. I wasn't going to say all of that, that just came. As most of it does, because when I look at people's faces, there's a gel that happens. It's like we've met before, or some of us have. Some of us have. But it's like when I get to speak, there's this conversation that's coming this way. There's a conversation that's coming this way. And then there's this conversation that comes, you know, I mean, you could have all been in a circle, like a yarning circle, and it's that horizontal plane. But praise God for his direction, that he came down to be with us, our Emmanuel. Gave us the gift of land and country that testifies of his greatness, goodness, his provision, his beauty, reflects the colours. Hey, you know that rainbow serpent story? I was always scared of snakes because, it's kind of the bad character in the Adam and Eve story. And I was taught that snakes were bad. Then I came across the rainbow serpent story in one of those books, one of the ones in the 1980s and 90s that had a fierce-looking snake. And I was petrified. But I couldn't get past the idea that when that serpent moved through country, pressed his body into the land, allowed for his saliva to be spat out to make water. When he's pressing through the hills, when you press into clay like that, the hill sculpts out and that valley comes down, and all of a sudden, through where that body goes, rivers would flow. And then that snake would rub its coils together real hot. I've seen so many snakes. I've got so many good snake stories. Not enough time today. Rub, 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 and from that heat, you know what happens at firecracker time? What do we call that time? Oh. The first day of the year. What do we call that? Yeah, that one. New Year's Eve, yeah. You know how they have the firecrackers and the fireworks? Yeah. Well, that happens because there's friction that happens and you've got explosives and then kaboom, you've got all those fireworks coming. But that snake rubbed his coils together and guess what flew out? Colour. And from the colours, all these animals that were colourless all of a sudden got hit by beautiful colours, and the character and the traits and the look from that rainbow serpent all of a sudden were translated and seen in the rest of creation. When I was listening to that story as a young one, I couldn't read till I was 18, by the way. I didn't know it, but I had dyslexia, so I couldn't actually decipher and then comprehend through. There was something blocking between brain and page and mouth. And so I relied a lot on people telling me the stories or reading me the stories. But when I heard that story, inside my heart I thought, that's like God. We reflect God's beauty. But I dared not tell anyone. You know why? You get in trouble if you talk about snakes in church. So I just hid it away and let that one percolate for another long time. Has anyone got a lolly? No, serious. Has anyone got a lolly? I need a lolly. Medical reasons. Thank you, Alan.
There's a
Oh, stuck one. Alan's my friend. My name's Safina Joy Stewart. Big story in that. Safina is an Arabic name. It means Noah's Ark. And I like Noah's Ark because it's not like the Titanic that sank. Didn't run into anything out of pride. But Noah's Ark had a job and a purpose and a calling, carried precious things, went through a whole lot of storm, arrived, and let those little ones go and flourish. And I don't know why my parents called me Safina, except that I was named after my auntie Safina, who was a Solomon Island lady who had 12 children, and I always wanted to walk in her footsteps. I've had 3. But I come to you as someone like that boat, who I know in God's story I was custom made. There's no one else like me. Similar, like I'm really like Mum and I'm really like Dad. My siblings, similar. My kids, similar, but different. And all I can do in my life is pull up my anchor and launch and be taken where that wind and where that current would take me. Like in the old ways, in our islands, we didn't have maps like, didn't have GPS, didn't have the old Melways. The way that maps were formed were in our memories and with stories based on like significant clues. You would be looking for clues in the water about what animals you could see, in the stars, the birds. They would all tell you whether or not you were on track. But the maps were very different. It had to be held in memory. So to be a boat woman is significant, but very, very scary. And I never know where I get to go. I'm only telling you this not because I'm special. I'm just wondering if maybe your name connects with something, if there's reason and purpose that you were placed here, and how you're going with that journey and through those storms, with that promise of hope that you'll get to where you've been called to get to, but the destination ain't really the point. The point is just to be whatever you're meant to be. For me, it's the boat. Sometimes I take on water. I'll tell you about that another time. It is very special to be here. The welcome was very significant because, Matt, sometimes I need to be reminded of how good my childhood was. When I was raised in Port Moresby. Now, Port Moresby in Papua New Guinea is one of the most dangerous cities in the world. Yeah. Do you know I never felt unsafe? Because people were incredibly welcoming. I knew my way around. I kind of blended in, like brown. That was a joke. I blended in. I looked familiar. And people didn't criticise and judge. They were embracing. When I came here to Australia, it was a completely different story. I never knew what discrimination, racism was until I returned to my homeland, Australia. So with acknowledgement of country, thank you, Mr. Slide, there you go, cool words. With acknowledgement of country, I want to acknowledge the truth and the history of this place. We're not, sorry, like I love Ringwood, but this ain't Ringwood. This is Wurundjeri country, also known as the suburb of Ringwood, also with the train station just there, also with Eastland right over there, and Maroondah Highway and Eastlink. But this land is known by its name. This name, it knows, and its name knows it. This is Wurundjeri country, belonging to the Wurundjeri people. Now, how do we know it belongs to the Wurundjeri people? I wasn't going to say all of this, but I'm just going to, ad lib. How do we know? Because it was given to them. Yeah? Now, who gave it to them? Creator God. Now that has caused a lot of dispute in this land, because a lot of people believe that this land is owned by who governs it. But see, of course, that's problematic, because as soon as you say who governs it, you go back to the story of how they acquired it. That's a really problematic story in Australia, because guess what? On whitefella law and blackfella law, this land was stolen from its people. Oh, crap. And those who came and took it did it in the name of another big oh dear. Because all of a sudden, our faith is interrupted by one of the severest injustices named in our Bible, 10 Commandments. Do not covet, do not murder, all that stuff. Oh my goodness, are we in a bit of a mess? Yeah? We're in a bit of a mess because we carry the legacy of these injustices that happened in the past, and we have to still figure out in our lifetime how we're going to reconcile that, how we're going to reckon with it, and what business it's going to be. That's a really big question for Christians, really big questions for churches, and it's hard work. But it's all right. I got this mate, his name Jesus. And this mate Jesus, he knows how to heal the land, he knows how to heal communities, he knows how to heal relationship between us and Creator. And so, gee, I'm going around the place, I can tell you're all just like, whoa, where's she taking us? But our faith is in an eternal God who has known the stories of this land since He made it. He's reflected in creation. Creation reflects our God, which means we reflect our God too. And the salvation story of Jesus coming to help us was not actually all about humans, it was actually all about all of creation, to which we are a part. How are we going? You going good? You, good place. This is a good place. Yeah. And I can tell because I got little twinkles in people's eyes, yeah? And it's just not my little Alan lolly. When we acknowledge country, we acknowledge our Creator. And when we acknowledge our Creator and we acknowledge country, that is a beautiful... See how I didn't do my heart? I just did my guts. Don't know why. We do a beautiful reconnection. Oh, it's an umbilical cord. We do a beautiful reconnection to places, spaces, people, and all of creation that there's been brokenness with. Yeah? I was real proud to wear this T-shirt driving up from Wonthaggi today. Stopped at the service station. You should have seen the looks I got. I was going into the ladies' room, to fluff my hair. And there was a woman coming out this side. Well, it's a little bit traumatic for me. That's why I have to tell you about it, so you share in my trauma and help me get through it, yeah? Okay, so she's coming out. You know how you try and be polite and open the door to the next person that comes in, usually? She did this whole fallback thing, and then she stood aside and didn't open the door for me. Yeah. She didn't mean anything by it. I just think I was threatening. Okay, so I'm coming in, thinking, who are we going to meet today? Come in, see her reaction, open the door, step aside and go, good morning, doll. You come. She came out, she smiled at me as we passed, and she went on her way. Little moment of forgiveness, but that poor woman, she could have slipped. No, I'm kidding. Sometimes we can't help but show that there's brokenness between our First Nations people and our visitors. Sometimes it's just an accidental, whoops, I wish I wasn't that embarrassing, but it comes out, okay? And if I can extend grace to you or this lady, do the same for us, yeah? Because there's a whole lot of struggles that my community now has to deal with and continue to battle through. And we need your grace. And we need your love and your support and your understanding and your learning. Yeah? What I love about Common Grace, just go next one there, bro. Oh, there's like words. Common Grace is a movement of individuals, churches, and communities animated by the vision of the good that God intends for the world, pursuing Jesus and justice together for the flourishing of all people and all creation. In my disheartened journey, I often found it hard to believe in the church or come to church. Many years. I didn't leave Jesus didn't leave me, but I found it hard coming into the church. You'll find that with lots of Aboriginal people, that church is a threatening place. There's a lot of history to that. A lot of churches were involved in government legislation and policies where our children would be removed and taken into churches or church missions or by good church people. But in that act, we also know that that's the stolen generation, where the forceful removal of our children was actually implemented by Christians. It's a very hard place to come to for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. It can be great, like I've got good experiences as well, but I've also got shocking ones that I won't tell you. I'm just going to say, don't let the shocking ones happen. Be a place of love and inclusion, a place of real love that is sincere, like what we just read in Romans 9, and don't be conceited. You know what conceited is? Yeah, you know what conceited is. You've met people who are conceited. We are not to be that as the Church of God. Instead, we need to let justice flow down like a river, yeah? I want to skip the next slide, but yeah, let's go to that one. Thank you. You're so good. Good thing we met before, hey? Sometimes when we're looking at God, we forget that God's heart is so loving that he cares about justice coming here to our spaces and places. And it's not that kind of justice that has to do with fairness and punishment, that we often associate with the legal system. I had someone come in and invade our house. They stole some things. So what do? I go to the police. Well, you guys probably go to the police. I don't go to the police. That was another joke you don't get. Some people would go to the police and report that theft. Yeah. And we would hope that that person that had done that crime would be found and that they would be brought to justice. So it usually has to do with a punitive system of punishment, and somehow we connect that to fairness. It's interesting. Just these words are really interesting. Fairness. Oh, good thing I've got a literature teacher over there that I can talk to. But this God of justice, I don't think God's talking about that kind of justice, hey? This God of justice has a different character to our legal system sometimes. I've needed to depend on the legal system, so I'm not trying to ditch the legal system, but I am trying to hopefully improve it in little ways that I can. But I'm just wondering now, I have no idea about the vibe of this church, whether people actually talk. I've met Alan, and he's really generous. And he met me in a need, yeah? But for the rest of you, I don't know if you guys do popcorn conversation, which is like you yell out, except for Alicia, that you yell out an answer. But let's give it a go, okay? So you've now had 5 minutes to look at that question, because that's called pre-planning. But our collective knowing as a group and as a community, what words would come up for you when you're thinking about this God of justice? Can we please have some words? Please describe to me this God of justice. Okay, hang on. Okay, you're supposed to take turns. Something came from there. For everyone? Do we agree? Really? For everyone? Anyone got any problems with that? How does that work? If it's for everyone and we're excluding people, good point. But I like what you said. It's for everyone. We're gonna still agree? Okay. Grace-filled. Is our God of justice grace-filled? Do we agree? Do you know that in your collective knowing, in my story and your story, is God a God of justice who is grace-filled? Right, okay. So for everyone and grace-filled. Good job. Oh, hello. That's a nice word. Do you know that in your story, that our God of justice is a restorative one? Yeah, nice. Like that one. Forgiving. True? Lord, if that wasn't true, I would not be here today. Yes, sir. True? Yeah. Oh, man, so good, hey?
Loving God.
Loving. Not liking, like God doesn't just like me. You know, my kids, they, I tell you, drive me up the sometimes. And I look at them and I go, I don't like you today, but I love you. But I don't like what you're doing. Do we know God as a loving God? Yes, and even despite our, do we know that God loves us? Can we push through to actually try believe that sometimes? Oh man, that's hard. Especially when we don't love ourselves, eh? Yeah. Oh, this is good. Come on, another one. Mercy and compassion. Oh, they're good together. Were you two like talking before? Yeah. Merciful and compassionate. True? I like that one, compassion, because I like mercy too. But the compassion one is like, I will join you in the suffering, in the pain. Do we know that about God? You experience that? Isn't this wonderful? Our God of justice has been involved in our lives, and we know what we know because we have lived it. Sometimes we get too far up here. We forget about this, we forget about this, and we forget about our feet and how we walk. When we remember the stories of our good God, our God of justice, it changes the way that we walk. It changes the way that we respond. It changes our heart and our compassion towards others, and it changes the way we think. Other way round, yeah? From bottom up, not from brain down. Can I copy that in my notes one day? Relational forever? That is pretty cool because, you know, it means there's no end to that relationship. Do you experience the relationship that you have with God as a good thing for your life? Yeah. You know, we're family. Got the same creator. Any more?
God is totally honest.
Honest. Wow. God is totally honest. You ever had God, you know, kind of pull you up on something? And you know inside your heart that you're a little bit embarrassed about that one or a little bit uncomfortable, but you know that it's God being honest with you? I've noticed that honesty is very much about remaining in a loving relationship. If I want to be dishonest with someone, omitting a truth, completely misreading something or adding a misinformation to it, it's not about love, it's actually about the opposite of love. But honesty is incredibly loving and continues relationship to be had forever. Yeah. Come on, one more. You good. Transforming. I love that show, Transformers. Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformation is miraculous. And when you have a transformed life, you cannot disprove it, that it is real, yeah? We kept praying for Uncle Matt. Uncle Matt, we used to call him. Do you remember Uncle Matt who played cricket with Daddy? Yeah, he came over for that roast chicken one time. Yeah, let's pray for Uncle Matt. We would pray for Uncle Matt at dinner for years. I don't know why. He was right. Look at him. He worked out. There's something in God's justice for me happening today that's restorative and healing and good and true and honest. That's just happened between Uncle Matt and myself. Because God has reminded me that he brings things back to right relationship. Not that we were out of a right relationship, it's just that our families missed each other, that we missed each other. And so there's even this, I don't know, returning factor that happens in God's justice. Can we go to that next slide, Mr. Slideman? Thank you so much. I need to learn your name. These were just some of the words that I put up, if in case you didn't have any words and didn't participate in that little activity. But the two there that I just want to, no, three actually. See communal? Do you resonate with that? God's justice is communal? Yeah, there's something about we can help bring God's justice to the spaces if we do it together. There's something about that. Yeah? See that grounded one? That has to do with God's justice is actually firmly about place and space. It's not, it's real. It affects flesh. It affects material stuff. It affects the stuff that we have around us, but it also roots us and grounds us in the character of God. We feel grounded. Yeah, I think that's where my guts are. As a woman, I say I'm grounded and I hold my hand there to my umbilical cord. Yeah. And the other one is protective. You reckon this God of justice loves to protect? Yeah. And who needs protection? All of us. Do we agree? All right. Okay, now I'm going to disagree. All right, sorry. Also learned I wasn't allowed to argue in church. Yeah, but I'd like to present just a question. Not that it's an argument. It's more like a back and forth. But what if there are some who need more protection than others? So what do we do with that? Say again a bit louder. Protect the weak more. Huh? Sorry, that is what I use in my family to say, what do you think? Are there some who need more protection and more assistance into safety? Yeah? Yes, they do. Oh, so we agree. Oh, yeah, cool. We're not arguing at all. All right. So in that case, who are some who need more protection than yourself or than the average? I don't know. Name some of these ones. Homeless? Disabled? Children? Stranger? Hungry? Elderly? Asylum seekers? Those who have been abused? Those who are targeted for abuse? Women? No? Vulnerable? Thank you. I was going to say the black fellas. Our Indigenous population? The unemployed? Mental health. Those suffering mental health? Country. Dang, you just hurt me. Naomi just said country. Not national anthem country. Country as in the non-human creation. The land. Has the land been suffering? Has there been injustices set against the land? The riverways? The waters? What about the sea? Anyone? What's happened to the sea? Plastic? Algae blooms? our environment. Hey, just remind me again whose job it was to protect the globe. Oh, dear. Was it supposedly or was it actually? Was it we who were given the role to look after each other and all of God's creation? How do you reckon we're doing? Like, what's the report card here? We have failed miserably. Part of that failure, dare I say, is because, oh man, this is heavy. Not only did we not listen to the people who were given the instructions of how to care for Wurundjeri country, or Mabiog, or Awabakul, or Gamilaroi, or Bunurong. Not only did we not listen to the people who were given the instructions how to care for that special patch, but we ripped it off of them, cast them out, massacred, raped, took the children, etc., etc. Now, send the children to jail early, have systems and laws that mean that children who haven't even been convicted are on remand. That means they're being babysat in prison, many of them in there because there's a whole heap of stuff and background before they even got there as to why they're there, like broken homes, you know. Aboriginal people, we suffer some serious situations like low health, low employment, low housing, addictions, abuse, all that kind of stuff. That's not even talking about the racism. So it's more likely for an Indigenous young person to end up breaking the law or appearing to break the law and to end up in an institution. In that institution, there is more heavy abuse, causing more trauma. When they get out, are they any more better off? No. Worse off, which then means what? Like my hair. Spiraling. We spiraling up? Oh, we're going the other way. We're spiraling down. Point being, are there some who suffer more than others? And what are we going to do about it? What are we, in our privileged, safe spaces, going to do about it? This is on our clock. I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. Ask for help. Okay, that's called prayer, yeah? Prayer. Can we do that? What else can we do?
Help get more people, with disabled people to help them.
Awesome. But not help like just shove it on you.
No.
I want to know how you want to be assisted and I'll do it that way. Bottom up, not top down, yeah? Because your voice is important more than the one that's helping you. Yeah. What else are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about helping those who suffer? Oh, that's a good one. You know, I've had some people stop and listen to me when I've been in, pain. You know what that demonstrates to me? Love. It demonstrates nothing but love and dignity and respect and honour. As soon as you listen to someone, as long as you're open, I've had some people listen and they're like waiting for the next thing to argue. But actually, To be heard is one of the most loving experiences that we collectively as humans can experience, yeah? Do you think that applies to country? If country is heard, it proves that we are loving her. I just gave the pronoun of her, but you know, it's not actually necessarily. Oh, I was looking at the next slide, but it wasn't actually up, but we just did that next bit of how do we pursue justice right now? And you guys just answered it without even having any clue of what the question was that I was asking you. Look how intelligent you are. It's because the collective knowing is powerful, yeah? I learnt yesterday, when I was at Surrender, that there's no singular word for disciple. It was not an individualistic thing. It was always the disciples. Jesus called his disciples. And so the disciples followed Jesus into the boat. It was always a communal thing. Here's my verse here of Amos 5, verse 24. Oh, and it connects to this painting. Hey, thank you for having my painting in your space. It's really cool, yeah. This verse, oh, hello, it's myself. This verse, let justice roll down like a river. You know, rivers, they're beautiful. They just keep on keeping on. Who goes on holidays and tries to get to a river? Me. Who likes to throw their kids in the river? Me. Who has the best childhood memories at rivers? Me. Who almost died in river? Me. But imagine if justice just rolled. Like full on, keeping on going, non-stop, like a river. Wouldn't that be good? Do you reckon we could like sprinkle some good juice, cold water, maybe living Jesus water, on a whole heap of people that just needed a whole lot of love because maybe they were suffering a heck of a lot? Can you imagine that river? It's a little bit like in the 90s we had the sprinkler dance. We'd do this. But imagine if we were the river. And imagine if we sprinkled that goodness and love everywhere we went. We were spotting things, listening to things, actively involved in things, working together in groups with things. Can you imagine everyone would get wet, yeah? Country would get wet. People would get wet. That'd be refreshing. That would be restorative. That would be healing. That would be us reflecting the colours of the rainbow serpent God. Okay, for those who are confused culturally, the rainbow serpent, the serpent isn't God. It's a form of storytelling that shows in image the characteristics of that one that created all things, okay? So in the same way we say the Lion of Judah, that lion is a beautiful symbolic representation to display the character of God, okay? Here on Wurundjeri, down at Bunurong country where I live, that big eagle known as Bunjil, you know, represents our Creator Spirit. Yeah? The one that's always hovering, always watching over. Don't you love it? I know my God to be like that. So in that painting, can you see the people that are dancing? Do you know, I never knew they were there. I painted this thing, it was like half this stage size. And I was on my studio desk, up high, with people, because it's a glass studio, so everyone could see me. And I was just moving like this to put that yellow on there. To put the blue, sorry. And I didn't even know that I was creating happy people, dancing people. But I think that's the joy of the Lord there. That is our strength, you know. And in this painting, there's all these little symbols. You can see them there. Can you see this white one here? 2 circles and then these little U prints. Almost looks like a flower, but it's not a flower. It's a symbol of a campfire. And I need a young person here now. Come here, darling. Come here. Come here, Mum. You too. Come on. We're inclusive. So if we sat on the ground and if we... Oh, sorry, darling. Yeah. Sit down, sit down.
I'm not young.
Okay, imagine this is our fire. Then we sit down. Oh, darling heart. Get up here now. I'm teasing you now. Come on, come on. You can't. No, come on. No, we inclusive here. Yeah. He said no, he's a resistor. If we were in a circle with many other people, you see the shape here of our legs and our hips? If we got up, now we're going to get up. Yeah, we're going to get up, okay? This our fire in the middle of us. If we got up and walked away, we would see in the sand the shape of where we had sat. True? So this is called a footprint. This is called a hand print. This one called a bum print. Not really. But it represents that people have been present here, in company with each other here, in relationship with each other here. It's a mark of history and relationship. So in this painting, when you see that symbol there, and it's called the campfire, no, it's not just a fire. It's actually about the people who came around and warmed themselves with the relationship and with the flames that were in the middle. Nice? Yeah. So that's my symbol for churches. Because, well, the Holy Spirit, Jesus and God and the Bible and all those, Sunday school answers, they're like the fire that keep us warm. And we together in relationship, hip to hip, not one on top of another, not power play like this, but side by side, we are the demonstration of the love and the heart of God. And therefore, the flood of justice is actually possible and delivered, unfortunately and fortunately, through us. Talk about pressure. Talk about responsibility. It's a weighty one, but we do serve a Jesus that gave everything. Justice requires us not to think about it. Justice requires us to actually, and live it out. And who does it impact? Everybody, especially those who are suffering. Any questions? That was good. You guys are great, especially Alan. Sometimes I get to come and share in churches and I don't actually know what I'm going to say. But I say exactly what I was meant to say. And it wasn't actually about me. It was about the we. Yeah, it's about all of us together. And that's kind of like what Common Grace is about. I'm going to get you up soon, Naomi, but there's this lovely sister over here with her hand up. Hey, darling. Isn't that amazing? That was amazing. When Matt read from Romans 12 before, wait, I can't see because of my glasses. It's cool, sis. I just stand back here. Verse 17 says, "Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live in peace with everyone. Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, 'It's mine to avenge. I will repay.' On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head." Now, I don't really understand the burning coals bit, but there was something about God's grace even to those who have done wrong. Now, sis, you were talking about individual. What about those who are in power and it's a collective? I don't have to talk about global politics right now, but you can just start recognizing my thread of thought. What about when there are systems that are so involved and many connections of people who are in power and doing what is wrong? Oh, it's right by them, but it's wrong by our Creator God. Yeah? Big questions, hey? Good thing we're in community because we can share our goodness and our smartness with each other, as well as our questions. This has been very beautiful having this conversation with you, but I know there's things that need to keep getting talked about, yeah? So, sprinkle that goodness over and onto each other and be the flood of justice, those life-giving waters, that flood of Jesus' love and goodness, of God's miraculous power. Be that to each other as well in each of your spaces and places where you interact. And if you've got issues with anyone in the church, it's all right. We're people. And we have a loving, good God who is known globally, historically, forevermore as the God of justice. Naomi's going to come up because I'm spent. Can you talk about Common Grace and if people want to connect with us, how they can do that? Because I just can't do that. Yeah.
Did you guys learn something? Are you going to be taking something away to think about and ponder? Is there new information? I've been working with Common Grace for 2 years and I learnt something just then. It was the bum print. But a lot more. There's always more to learn on this journey. I had to learn that one really early, actually, that there will always be more to learn. And Common Grace exists to help us do that work together, to connect Christians across the country and across denominations, so that as the body of Christ, we can do this work together. Because it's pretty rare that you get to have Safina Stewart come and share like this in your church. So we want all Christians across Australia who have that beating heart and want to learn to be able to access that. And I don't know if you... I just want to talk about the painting again. Yeah, because as you were saying, this is something else I learnt while you were talking, Safina. I was looking at that and I was like, our rivers, especially in our cities, don't take this shape anymore because we've concreted most of them and built roads around them and homes. And so what used to happen in Amos's time when that verse was written is that when a flooding rain would come or a dry spell and then new rain, the rivers would actually change their shape a little bit. They'd probably still run in the same countries, and there were some in deep canyons that that's the form they take. But in the open places, they actually change their shape. So from year to year, season to season, it looks a little different. but we've concreted our urban creeks and rivers, and we've made them all go in the one direction these days, the same shape every year. I think the flood of justice that is the people of Christ, the body of Christ, we need to be able to take different pathways at different times for different issues, for different people, for different scenarios, for different contexts. And sometimes there'll be a big rush, and sometimes it'll be just the stream flowing. So there's different ways for you to be involved. Yeah. There's so many different ways for you to be involved, and I just want to share a couple with you, but I'm also going to hang around afterwards so that you can come and talk to me. I'd love to hear your heart for justice and what it is that you feel burning on your heart that you want to be a part of. So one of the ways is our Let Justice Flow conference. That's going to be happening in August in Canberra. It's where we gather a whole lot of mob. There's all kinds of Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander Christian leaders and experts in the policy and it's a time to sit and hear and have that deep learning, deep listening experience. But it's very practical as well, because on the Monday we go together to Parliament House and we start to put it into action. One of the solutions we're working on is actually building gracious, loving, caring relationships with our elected officials in these places of power that often are abusing their power in some ways. It's not always working out equitably and justly for everybody. And the thing we want right now is for children all over Australia to be safe and free and flourishing, and for Australia to raise the criminal age of responsibility, which is as low as 10 in some places of our country. So we're going to be listening, doing that hard work of deep listening and then putting it into action. And it's a really formational experience. You're very welcome to attend. We've got a little video about that if you want to have.
We are very excited to share that tickets to our 2026 Let Justice Flow conference are now open. Common Grace's Let Justice Flow conference is one of the highlights of our year, when we get to meet together for 3 incredible days, connecting, learning, yarning and speaking with our nation's leaders at Parliament House to call for action and to see justice flow across these lands. So join us in 2026 for our Let Justice Flow conference happening in Canberra, the 15th to the 17th of August. Visit commongrace.org.au to find out more and book your early bird tickets today. We look forward to meeting you there.
That's a really intense time, and if you are feeling a call to that, but a trepidation about it, please come and see me afterwards. I'd love to have a conversation so that this is something that is relational, it's very invitational, and it's also it is like your level of participation is up to you on that time as well. So you're so welcome to come with us and be the prayer warriors sitting in Parliament House and attending meetings and learning that on the ground, but also as you are willing and able to participate, we'd just love to have you there. To continue to expand this incredible network of Christians who are wanting to speak to the people in power and say, hey, as Christians, God cares about this, and He's put it on our heart, and we want to do that work of advocacy in this place. I want you to get out your phones now, if you have a phone, and get out this is a QR code. If you're not already signed up to our newsletter, we'd love you to sign up, because some of the work that we do is in spaces like climate justice, climate and creation justice, people seeking asylum. This year we're going to be having a big push to see Australia increase the humanitarian intake up to what it is that they've already promised. We're not delivering on our promises. There's the ongoing human rights abuse issues of locking up children that we'll continue to talk about as well. We've also been doing updates to our Safer website, which is a resource for churches and Christians to know how to help victim survivors from domestic abuse situations in ways that are truly safe in church places. And so there's a lot of work and new advocacy coming in that space this year as well. Really, by signing up to our newsletter, what it is you're getting the help to translate all of the theology and the message that you heard today from Safina into something that is actionable. And it might not be every pathway that you take, but it will just tell you what's going on. And then you'll have the invitation to respond. We'd love you to join us. I'd also, on the next slide, if you have already been following along with the work of Common Grace, I want to say a big thank you. There's actually a lot of supporters in the room. I do recognise that Ringwood is a home for Common Grace, and that there's been years of just a heart beating for justice in this place that's been nurtured. So I want to say a big thank you. And if this is something that's really touched your heart, I want to invite you to consider making a donation to Common Grace, because we are entirely funded by individuals and churches like you to put out the resources that we do for Aboriginal Sunday and National Reconciliation Week and Refugee Week. All of our Lent and Advent resources, as well as all the advocacy that we do, is we can only do it because of the generosity of Christians in Australia who believe in this work. So a big thank you to you guys for that. And I think it's back to Penny.